And I look forward to that being sorted out in January, because I think the Self-Help Commission is an absolutely necessary unit, especially for rural communities like my area, which I'm the MP for, that is going to spin off a couple of things there. Mr. Green spoke about one of the challenges with regards to the processing of applications, and that the fact that there was no salary limit in terms of when someone makes an application. So you may not have to be only in the area of single mother or some destitute person. You could have been a middle income teacher, lawyer, doctor, engineer, and you can apply for a self-help grant. And is that what I'm hearing in terms of a bit of the challenge with regards to the application process and having to filter some of those out?
Yes, you are very, very correct, Mr. Vice Chair. And the thing is that one of the things we try to do with our grants is that we try to target a particular group, because as you would, I look at one of the previous recommendations of this committee, and that is, and one of the strong recommendations coming out of this committee was that of us partnering and having a relationship with other agencies that offer the similar grants. So one of the things is that those other agencies may be able to facilitate a grant for one of our clients that in a similar circumstance, and they may meet that criteria. The thing with our criteria, because it's so open-ended, we just, we receive them, we try as much as possible. I mean, one of the things we met when we came is a real dedicated project management team, Mr. Vice Chair. Those people are really in touch with the ground, really in touch with the communities in terms of these grants. So you are very correct when you say that there is a bit of the boom.
Mr. Winter, in your experience, and I know you've been there, I'm not sure if you've been there as chairman in the organization before or in another role, but in your experience, when the experience of your other members, the vast majority or the bulk of the applications comes from what strata of our society? Is it lower income, middle income, upper income? Where do you get the bulk of your applications?
So, Vice Chair, yeah, I only came into the commission in June of this year when the other board members would have started as well. It's varied. It comes from various groupings in societies, not that of only low income, middle income, or high income. We receive applications from all income groups. Sometimes it basically depends on the circumstance that the person may have found themselves in, especially when it comes to emergency grants. So someone may be living in that of an urban community, however, they may have experienced some sort of natural disaster, and they approach the National Commission for Self-Help for assistance in those instances. So our clients are not really low income or middle income, as we say. They come from all various groupings.
But Mr. Winter, wouldn't you agree that it is reasonable to think, the wider community out there, it's reasonable to think that the vast majority of these applications are going to come from those at the lower income, lower strata of our society, taking into consideration that their recovery from anything, be it a disaster, a fire, a landslip at the back of their homes, vast majority of these people in rural communities may not have a lot of paperwork and so on. Isn't it reasonable to think that the vast majority would come from this group and special arrangements be made to expedite when these types or that strata of folks come into the system? I just want to give a simple example. In the Mayara constituency, and I had my staff pull a lot of data for me for this meeting this morning, and I have 13 requests or applications for fire victims from 2016 to 2022. And I wanted to get a feeling from the Self-Help Commission if a fire victim in the lower income bracket is considered an emergency. And if it is an emergency, do you have a set key performance indice that you can say within 14 days, 21 days, or 30 days of all the necessary paperwork come into your organization, we can grant a check to assist this person either get back some basic amenities whenever they move under a friend's house into a rental apartment or something. Would this be considered an emergency? And how can you explain that we have applications inside that are 12, 24, 36, and 48 months outstanding? How would you give an explanation for something like that?
So, Mr. Vice Chair, I would say with regard to the emergency grants, we try as much as possible within 7 days to issue those purchase orders. But if I may, through you and through the chairman, if I could just ask Mr. Romain to just give us, Mr. Romain has been functioning in the organization as a senior projects officer, mainly in the South area, which would fall under your, one of your districts. Can I just ask him to just shed some light on this, please?
Yes, Mr. Romain.
Good morning all again. Through you, Chair. And also to Vice Chairman. As we speak about disasters, right, especially as it relates to fires. Now, someone's house could be burnt, someone's dwelling could be burnt, someone's property could be burnt. And they will approach the National Commission for Self-Help. As Chairman Winter would have espoused before, we really try within a 7-day period to bring these people positions back to indemnity. Sometimes, a lot of the times, folks will approach the Commission for assistance. They will fill out the necessary application forms and things like that. But at the end of the day, it comes straight back to the criteria. So they will fill the form. They will say they apply to the Commission. What happens is that sometimes they don't have the requisite land tenure. So that's one of the main things, right? That will hold back an application. It's one of the main things that will hold us back from even giving the assistance, because once they don't fall or they don't have the requirements where the criteria is concerned, especially with land tenure, right, that will hold it back.
But Mr. Romain, is there a process where these victims, these fire victims, are notified? Because many of them come back to our offices time and time again, asking for updates, asking us to get updates for them. Is there a current procedure where feedback is given to these clients on a regular basis? And even if they don't have the proper documentation, is that told to them that you don't have it and your application has been denied and it is closed off? Is there a process for that?
As it is, we would have recently embarked on a drive where we are reaching out to those applicants, telling them whether their applications are recommended, not recommended, and even why. So that is a recent development which we are going through it as we speak.
I have one question before I allow my colleagues to go in again. And this is for Mr. Winter. Mr. Winter,